Senator Capito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the ranking member, and thank all of you for your service and for coming before us today. I'm sorry I missed the opening statements, but that's just sort of the way it is around here sometimes. But and pardon me if this question's been asked before, Dr. Clancy. I know Senator Baldwin and I have shared interest in this area. So you and I have talked and had opportunities, and you came down to Beckley and met with all of our the directors of our VA facilities, and I'm still very appreciative of that. But the scourge of opioids that's devastating our state, particularly within our veterans population, we've talked about steps that you're taking at the VA for overprescribing and more transparency. If you could just give me an update on how that's going and any changes that you might be making or what you're seeing across the veterans population in this area.
So what we're seeing in the state of West Virginia is that 3 of the 4 facilities have made substantial progress, not quite as much as the Toma VA, but significant decreases in the proportion of veterans on chronic opioids, as well as the proportion of veterans on both a benzodiazepine and a narcotic medication, and that progress has continued. So even the last quarter reflects improvements in the ballpark of 14%, 11, and 10% for those 3 facilities. The one facility that actually never had a very high rate, although they have reduced somewhat, is our Martinsburg. But they haven't backtracked or suddenly developed a new surge, which I think is good news.
Are you employing so in place of those prescriptions, are you as a system looking at alternative treatments for pain? What types of research are you finding there, or what kinds of things are working, or nerve blocks, or different kinds of options that we've heard about? Yes,
we make a wide array of options available, from yoga and Tai Chi to massage. Acupuncture is very, very helpful for many people. Not everything is available everywhere, but
right.
We now have a way of tracking that much more closely than we had. And a couple of years ago, Dr. Shulkin, as undersecretary, actually hired a national director for complementary and integrative health interventions, which has helped a huge array of veterans. We're also funding research with the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health at the National Institutes of Health, trying to figure out how can we more precisely target those interventions. Right now, it's a little bit of you can try this and maybe that will help and so forth. What would be lovely would be to know how to be a little bit more precise with that on an individual basis for veterans out of the gate. But I think it's a hugely promising area.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too, and I think I'm curious, sort of in the back of my mind, since we're so oriented to prescriptions, if I'm sure there's some pushback at certain points from some veterans who feel like they their pain's not going to get alleviated any other way. But I'm glad to know that you're dealing with that. I would like to say, just to the panel in general, that you probably don't get thanked as much as you might deserve. And my brother-in-law was in the hospital, and the guy next to him had just had neurosurgery, and he said, when I walked in, he recognized me, and he said, "I just want you to thank the VA because I'm here from the VA Choice Program." He'd been to the Huntington facility, had a pretty major problem with his upper vertebrae, and he just was singing the praises of the Choice Program, of the physician that treated him, of the surgery that he was able to receive in his home hospital, which was 40 or 50, well, I'd say 40 miles away. So I just want to let you know there are some very good success stories out there, and I ran right into one accidentally, and he wanted me to express his gratitude. And so on behalf of that veteran, I say thank you. And so I know there's lots of issues with running out of money and all that, and I think we're going to be dealing with that. Another thing I've run into in terms of dealing with our veterans that I think holds promise is this agricultural vocations or agritherapy, something I'm interested in. I visited a beekeeper out in our state and could see the mental health pluses. He does quite a bit. And we were able to get $4 million into a pilot program to train veterans in agricultural vocations while also tending to their behavioral and mental health needs. How is I don't know if anybody on the panel here knows specifically anything about this yet. Dr. Clancy?
So our Office of Rural Health and the Veterans
Right.
Health Administration has actually put out a targeted solicitation for this. And in some cases, we anticipate that we may have some opportunities to partner with the Administration for Memorial Affairs, where they've got adjacent land. That part was brand new to me, but many people have found this to be very helpful, so we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited about what I saw that day, and so I'm glad that you all are embracing this. And that does sound like, I don't know, Mr. Reeves, did you want to talk about that with the memorials, the property issue?
No, this just like a lot of other programs that we've got, we, across the lines of our administration.
Right.
We do cooperate with our partners in the other administrations. And this is something that I've been aware of even before through USDA was doing some things like that to encourage farming and that kind of thing for veterans. So this is something that we're really excited about.
Great. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.